Imagine walking through a dark, dense forest surrounded by predators, completely naked, and without a single bone in your body to protect you. Every shadow holds a creature with razor-sharp teeth, and you have no armor, no shell, and nowhere to run. To survive, you have to become a ghost. You have to learn to melt into the trees, to change the very texture of your skin, and outsmart every hunter that crosses your path. In the vast, unforgiving expanse of the world's ocean, this is exactly the reality of the octopus. In many ways, the octopus is as close to an alien life as you'll ever see. It is a creature that tastes with its skin, thinks with its 8 arms, and disappears in the blink of an eye. When we look at this mesmerizing animal, it feels like we're looking at a biological impossibility. It is a creature that can squeeze its entire body through a hole no larger than a quarter. Yet it possesses an intelligence that rivals some of the smartest mammals. But how does a soft, squishy animal with no armor survive a sea filled with sharks and dolphins? How can it perfectly match the vibrant colors of a coral reef when it is, structurally speaking, completely colorblind? And what can this 8-armed escape artist teach us about the profound, infinite possibilities of intelligence? Evolutionary biology of the octopus. To understand how the octopus became the ultimate underwater ninja, we have to look deep into the fossil record. Over 500 million years ago, long before the first dinosaur ever took its first breath, the early ancestors of the octopus were crawling along the ocean floor. Evolutionary biology, which refers to the study of how things slowly change over millions of years to survive their environments, shows us that these ancient creatures were mollusks. A mollusk is a group of animals that typically have soft bodies protected by a heavy, hard shell like snails, clams, and oysters. For millions of years, that thick shell was the only defense against the terrifying jaws of prehistoric predators. But roughly 140 years ago, the lineage that would eventually produce the modern octopus made a wild, unbelievable evolutionary gamble. They entirely lost their protective shells. Compare this to a knight taking off his heavy metal in the middle of a raging battle. It seems like an absolute death sentence. Without a shell, the octopus would become one of the most vulnerable creatures in a sea full of dangerous, hungry hunters. Except this extreme vulnerability was the exact pressure that forced them to adapt. What they lost in a heavy, slow defense, they gained in a spectacular, unparalleled agility. By ditching their shells, they unlocked a new superpower. Because the octopus has almost no hard parts at all, except for a sharp, parrot-like beak hidden in its mouth, it can squeeze and contort its body into impossibly small crevices. If you tried to force a human through a tiny hole, our rigid, calcium-based skeleton would instantly stop us. But an octopus can effortlessly pour itself into a discarded glass jar or a tiny crack in a rock, escaping large predators like sharks, who can only bump their snorts against the stone. This was nature's ultimate trade-off, proving that sometimes stripping away your defenses is the only way to truly become invincible. The octopus's 3 hearts and blue blood. But escaping into a tiny crack into a rock is exhausting work, and the internal engine that powers the octopus is just as bizarre as its shellless body. If you were to look inside a human chest, you would find one hard-working heart, pumping bright red blood. Our blood is red because it relies on hemoglobin. That is an iron-rich protein that grabs onto oxygen and carries it into our muscles. But the octopus lives in the cold, deep, and often oxygen-deprived waters of the ocean, so iron just won't cut it. Instead, the octopus uses a protein called hemocyanin. Hemocyanin is a copper-based protein that carries oxygen through the bloodstream. Because it's built on copper rather than iron, when oxygen binds to it, the octopus's blood turns a brilliant, shimmering blue. This copper-based blood is incredibly efficient at keeping the octopus alive in freezing, harsh underwater environments where human blood would just fail. However, this thick, syrupy blue blood is very hard to pump. To solve this heavy plumbing problem, evolution gave the octopus not 1, but 3 distinct hearts. Two specialized branchial hearts are dedicated solely to pumping this thick blood through their gills to harvest oxygen from the water. The third, larger systematic heart takes that freshly oxygenated blue blood and aggressively pumps it to the rest of the body. But here's the insane twist. When an octopus swims fast to escape a predator, that main systematic heart actually stops beating completely. This means swimming exhausts them incredibly quickly, which is exactly why they prefer to crawl along the seafloor. It is a fragile, beautiful system of anatomy that forces the octopus to rely on its brain rather than its brawn. Octopus, master of dynamic camouflage. Because the octopus cannot swim fast for very long without tiring, it had to perfect a different way of avoiding the terrifying predators of the reef. It became the undisputed master of disguise. For instance, if you watch an octopus moving across the reef, it doesn't just hide. It literally becomes the reef. In the blink of an eye, an octopus can change the color, pattern, and even the 3D texture of its skin to perfectly mimic a rock, a patch of seaweed, or a cluster of coral. This magical disappearing act relies on a highly sophisticated network of skin organs called chromatophores. Chromatophores are tiny, elastic sacs filled with colored pigment, like microscopic balloons full of red, yellow, and black dye. These sacs are surrounded by radial muscles that are wired directly into the octopus's brain. When the brain sends a signal, the muscles violently pull the sacs open, splashing vibrant colors across the skin. Compare this to a chameleon changing color. A chameleon's color change is driven by hormones moving slowly through its bloodstream, which can take over 20 seconds. An octopus changes color neurologically, taking less than 200 milliseconds. It is literally as fast as a human blink. But color is only half of the illusion. To perfectly mimic the jagged, bumpy texture of a coral reef, the octopus uses specialized muscles called papillae. Papillae instantly pushes the skin upward, creating sharp spikes, fleshy bumps, and ridges that cast real shadows in the water. The octopus doesn't just paint a picture of a rock on its skin. It physically sculpts its body into a rock. With these tools, this soft-bodied, shell-free creature has survived a world of teeth for millions of years, hiding in plain sight. Seeing without eyes. All of this rapid, flawless camouflage brings up a massive, glaring biological paradox. For decades, scientists have known that octopus and almost all cephalopods are totally colorblind. Their eyes possess one type of color receptor, meaning they see the vibrant, colorful ocean in grayscale. So, how on earth can an animal that only sees in black and white perfectly match the bright neon reds and greens of a coral reef? In 2015, a team of researchers at the University of California set out to answer this perplexing question. They wanted to know if the secret to the octopus's camouflage was hidden entirely outside of its brain. To test this, they did something truly bizarre. They took small, detached biopsies of the octopus's skin and shined bright, specific wavelengths of light directly into the disembodied tissue. What they discovered fundamentally shattered an understanding of sensory biology. Astonishingly, the detached octopus skin reacted to the light. The chromatophores stretched and changed color all on their own, completely disconnected from the animal's eyes and central brain. The researchers discovered that the skin of the octopus is packed with the exact same light-sensitive proteins called opsins. Opsins are normally only found inside the retina of the eye. This insane finding revealed that the octopus doesn't just see with its eyes. It literally sees with its entire skin. The skin itself is absorbing the light of the environment and reacting instinctively. It is a decentralized, fully body awareness that no mammal could ever hope to achieve. Octopus thinking with 8 arms. This decentralized way of seeing perfectly matches the bizarre, alien layout of the octopus's nervous system. The common octopus possesses roughly 500 million neurons. Neurons that are specialized messenger cells in the body that transmit information, thoughts, and commands. This gives the octopus a brain power equivalent to a golden retriever or a parrot. But unlike a dog or a human, the octopus does not keep all of its brain power in its head. In a human being, Our central brain acts like a massive computer CPU, receiving signals from our fingertips, processing them, and then sending commands back down. If you sever a human arm, it can do absolutely nothing. But in an octopus, only 1/3 of its 500 million neurons are located in its central brain. The other 2/3 are distributed entirely through its 8 arms. This means that each individual arm essentially has its own mini-brain. In the recent years, neurobiologists studied this by observing the way octopus arms move while searching for food. They mapped the movements using high-tech video modeling and discovered something wild. Biologists found that these arms are making complex decisions entirely on their own, completely bypassing the central brain. If an octopus arm is severed, it will still independently crawl around, recognize food, grasp it, and try to pass it into the phantom mouth that is no longer there. The octopus isn't just a creature with 8 arms. It is a collaborative network of 9 brains, all working together in a beautiful, synchronized underwater ballet. The octopus's insane intelligence. Because of this massive, highly distributed intelligence, octopuses are capable of behaviors that scientists previously thought were only reserved strictly for primates or humans. We have long celebrated chimpanzees for their ability to use sticks to fish for termites. But the octopus takes this tool use to a whole new, calculated level. In the sandy, exposed flats of Indonesia, the veined octopus has been observed carrying 2 halves of a discarded coconut shell. When the octopus needs to travel across a dangerous, open stretch of sand, it stacks the coconut halves like bowls, tucks its soft body inside, and awkwardly stilt walks across the sea floor. When a predator approaches, it instantly pulls the coconut shell shut, creating a perfect, impenetrable sphere of armor. Scientists were blown away by this, because carrying a heavy, cumbersome tool for future use requires forward planning. The octopus has to imagine a future threat, realize it will need a shelter later, and endure a physical burden now to ensure its survival later. But their intelligence goes beyond staying alive. They also experience curiosity. Dr. Jennifer Mather, an animal behaviorist, wanted to know if the octopuses were capable of play, a behavior previously thought to exist only in social mammals like dolphins or dogs. She placed a buoyant, empty pill bottle into a tank with a lonely octopus and a small jet of water. After inspecting the bottle, the octopus realized it wasn't food. But instead of ignoring it, the octopus intentionally pushed the bottle into the water jet, watching it bounce across the tank, only to catch it and do it again. One octopus bounced the bottle 21 times in a row. It was the marine equivalent of bouncing a basketball. The octopus was bored, felt safe, and decided to play, proving that joy and curiosity exist far beyond the mammalian family tree. Octopus, a vanishing brilliance. Yet, despite their extraordinary intelligence, their playful curiosity, and the miraculous camouflage, the life of the octopus is incredibly, tragically brief. Most species of octopus live for only 1 to 3 years, and the end of their life is marked by one of the most heartbreaking acts of maternal devotion in the entire animal kingdom. This is so hurting. When a female octopus is ready to reproduce, she finds a dark, secluded cave and lays tens of thousands of tiny, translucent eggs, weaving them into beautiful, hanging braids. From the moment the eggs are laid, the mother stops eating entirely. For months, she tirelessly guards her unborn children, gently blowing fresh, oxygenated water over the eggs with her siphon to keep them clean and healthy. She defends them from predators, slowly starving to death, her vibrant colors fading to a ghost pale white. By the time babies hatch and drift away into the currents, the mother dies. She passes all of her energy, ensuring the next generation survives, but she is never able to teach them a single thing. And today, this fragile, fleeting existence is under severe threat. Human-driven climate change is rapidly increasing the temperature and the acidity of our global oceans. As the water becomes more acidic, it disrupts the delicate development of the octopus embryos, threatening to wipe out entire generations before they even hatch. We are carelessly altering the chemistry of the only home these magnificent minds have ever known. We're placing immense stress on a creature that has already survived millions of years of predators, only to be cornered by the invisible chemical shift by our own industrial exhaust. The mirror into the deep. When we look into the strange, rectangular pupil of the octopus, we're looking across a vast evolutionary chasm. We sit upon the mammalian branch of the tree of life, tracing our intelligence back to the early primates who built social bonds to survive. But to find our common ancestor with the octopus, we have to travel back 600 million years. Back then, the creature that connects us was nothing more than a microscopic, blind flatworm wiggling in the mud. From the humble flatworm, life branched out. We took the path of bones, lungs, and a central wrinkly brain. The octopus took the path of 3 hearts, blue blood, and a mind distributed across 8 shifting, tasting arms. Evolution invented high-level intelligence not just once on this planet, but twice, and it did so in 2 completely, fundamentally different ways. The octopus doesn't just survive the ocean. It outsmarts it. It watches, it plans, and it remembers. For centuries, humans have looked up to the stars, desperately searching for alien intelligence, hoping to find a mind that is entirely unlike our own. But the truth is, the aliens are already here. They are swimming in our kelp forest, hiding in our reefs, and playing in the shallow tides. The octopus is a brilliant, shape-shifting reminder that our way of being human is just one way to be brilliant. And perhaps, if we learn to respect the quiet, blue-blooded genius of the sea, we can finally learn how to truly appreciate the infinite, magical possibilities of life on Earth.